to Cambridge Chemistry channel with Sarvat Ahmed. Be sure to like the video and subscribe the channel. Let's start. Today I will be solving paper 1 multiple choice question 507011 May June 2024. Let's start. A scientist heats a sample of liquid. The scientist measures the temperature of the sample and plots a graph of the temperature against time. Which statements are correct? Between points W and X, the temperature increases and the particles move faster. Yes, it is correct. Between points X and Y, there is no change in the temperature because energy is needed to change a liquid into gas. Between point X and Y, yes, there is no change in temperature because energy is needed to change a liquid into a gas. Yes, it is correct. Between points Y and Z, the particles move further apart. Yes, because from point Y to Z, the state changes from liquid to gas, so that's why particles move further apart. So that's why 1, 2 and 3 are correct. A sample of substance X contains iron and sulfur only. In which row is it possible for both statement about X to be correct? Iron is 56 and sulfur is 32. X is a mixture with the ratio of 4 to 7 by mass of iron and sulfur. So iron mass is 56 and sulfur mass is 32. So if we know that iron and sulfur, so the 32 this is equal to 7, this is equal to 4. By simplifying the ratio of mass, that is 7:4. So X is a mixture with the ratio 4 to 7 by mass of iron and sulfur. This is incorrect. X is a compound with the ratio 4 to 7 by mass of iron and sulfur. This is also incorrect. So B option is X is a mixture with the ratio of 7:4. So the ratio between iron and sulfur is 7:4, whether it is mixture or whether it is compound. So X is a mixture with the ratio 7:4 by mass of iron and sulfur. X is a compound with the ratio of 7:4 by mass of iron and sulfur. So because iron sulfide, the formula is iron sulfide, whether it is a mixture, whether it is a compound. So this is correct, this is also correct. So B option is correct. So X is a mixture with the formula FeS. So the mixture has no the chemical combination, so that's why iron and sulfur will be separate. But X is a compound with the formula FeS. This is correct, but this is incorrect. X is a mixture, this is incorrect, FeSO4, because oxygen is not there, so that's why this is also incorrect. X is a compound with the formula, this is also incorrect because only iron and sulfur is present, so cannot be formed iron sulfate, so that's why B option is correct option. Question number 3, a chlorine atom Z has a nucleon number of 37. Which row is correct? Number of neutron in Z. So number of neutron in Z 37. Nucleon number is 37. It means number of neutron is not 17. So these option A and B are incorrect. So 37 minus 17, because chlorine is like this, 37. So this is nucleon number, this is nucleon number, and this is proton number. And we can find out neutron number by subtracting. Neutron number is equal to 37 minus 17 is equal to 20. So this is correct. Number of electrons in the second shell of Z. In second shell of Z17, so the electronic configuration, first shell has 2 electrons, second shell has 8, and third shell is 7 because it is present in group 7. So this is correct option. C is correct. Which particles are isotopes of the same elements? Okay, number of neutrons should be vary, but number of electrons and number of protons should be same. So 22, 25, 26, 26. Number of proton and number of electrons are same, but number of neutrons are different. So Y and Z are isotopes. D option is correct. A statement about graphite and silicon 4 oxide are given. Which statement is correct? Silicon 4 oxide is found as an impurity in iron ore. Yes. This is incorrect because Fe2O3. This is iron ore, SiO2. This is the iron ore, hematite. So A option is correct. So no need to waste time by discussing B, C and D. And the angles between the atom in silicon 4 oxide and graphite are the same. This is incorrect because graphite is hexagonal and silicon 4 oxide is tetrahedral. This is tetrahedral structure and this is hexagonal. So the angle between the atoms in silicon 4 oxide is 104.5, while over here 120, because this is CC. Each carbon is surrounded by 3 carbon atoms, while silicon 4 oxide is tetrahedral structure. So that's why it is incorrect. The melting point of silicon 4 oxide and graphite are high because ionic bonds are stronger than covalent bond. So both have covalent bonds. So in silicon 4 oxide also a giant molecule with covalent bonds, and graphite also have covalent bonds. So this is also incorrect. When graphite acts as a lubricant, the covalent bonds between the layers are broken. No, covalent bonds, not layers. Layers can slide over each other. So covalent bonds between the layers. Covalent bonds are not present between the layers. Weaker intermolecular forces are present between the layers. So it is also incorrect. Statement about empirical and molecular formula are given. Which statement is correct? The empirical and molecular formula of a compound are always different. No, this is not always different. This is incorrect. The empirical formula of ethine and benzene are the same. Yes, it is same because empirical formula of ethine is CH, simplify, and empirical formula of benzene is also CH. So this is correct statement. The molecular formula always shows the simplest whole number. No, molecular formula always show the actual number of atoms present in the compounds. The empirical formula always show this is incorrect. The empirical formula also shows the number and types of different atoms in one molecule of the compound, so this is also incorrect. This is the simplest ratio. Also not shows the numbers and types of different atoms in one molecule of compound. What is the relative formula mass Mr of the aluminum oxide? Aluminum oxide, we know that the formula of aluminum oxide is Al2O3. How it is formed? Aluminum is present in group 3 carrying 3 plus charge. Oxygen is present in group 6 carrying 2 minus. Charges are cross multiplied to have formula this, and the I think so this answer is correct because aluminum 27 into 2, AR of aluminum is 27 plus 16 into 3, so this is 54 and this is 48, so that is equal to 102. So C option is correct. How many ions are there in 16 gram of anhydrous copper 2 sulfate? Anhydrous copper 2 sulfate has 2 ions because CuSO4, so it has 2 ions, and 16 copper sulfate is Mr of copper sulfate is, first find out the mole of copper 2 sulfate. 16 divided by 64 plus 32 plus 60, 16 into 4, 64. So the answer is 64 plus 64 plus 32 is equal to 160. So this is 160 and the answer is 160 16 divided by 160 is equal to, mole is 0.1 mole, and 0.1 into 2 into 6 point, so the number of ion is equal to 0.1 mole into 2 into 6.02 into 10 raised power 23. So A option is correct option. Which sample contains the most atoms? Which sample contains the most atoms? 0.5 moles. 0.5 moles, and number of atom in water is 3 into 3 into 6.02 into 10 raised by 23. One mole of methane. One methane has 5 atoms. Carbon 1, 4 into 5 into 6.02 into 10 raised by 23, and 2 mole of hydrogen chloride. HCl has 2 atoms, so 2 into 2 into 6.02 into 10 raised by 23. So C option is correct. The reaction shown all products produces hydrogen. Which reaction produces the greatest volume of hydrogen measured at room temperature and pressure? 1.4 gram carbon react with excess steam. So find out mole first. 12. 1.4 divided by 12. 12 is the atomic mass AR of carbon. This is 0.116. 40 plus 2. 42. 2.4 divided by 42. This is equal to 0.0571. 4 point calcium react with dilute acid. 44 divided by 40 is equal to 0.1 mole. 50 divided by 1000 into 50 divided by 1000 is equal to into 0.2 is equal to 0.1. This is also 0.1 mole. So the mole ratio 1:1, 0.1:1, 0.1 ratio x, 0.1 into 24. This is 0.1, 1:1, so the same 0.1 into 24. CaH2, the mole ratio is 1:2, 0.0571 into x, 0.057 into 2 is equal to 0.114 into 24 into 24 is equal to 2.7 decimeter cube, and this is 1:1, and mole of hydrogen is volume of hydrogen is equal to mole into 24 dm cube. Mole in this case is 0.116 because mole ratio is 116 into 24. 0.116 into 24 is equal to 2.784. 2.784. So in this case, this is 0.114 into 24 is equal to, this is 2.784 dm cube, and this is 2.736. so this is correct option. A is correct answer. 4 solutions of sodium hydroxide are made by dissolving solid sodium hydroxide in distilled water. Which method makes a solution with a concentration of 0.10 mole per dm cube? 1.6 gram sodium hydroxide to make 400 centimeter cube solution. So 1.6 divided by, so first find out the mole of all quantities. 1.6 divided by sodium 23 plus oxygen 16 plus 1, this is equal to 40. 1.6 divided by 40 is equal to, this is 0.04 mole. Mole is equal to mass over mr, 0.04 mole. So the 400 centimeter cube containing 0.04, so what would be the mole in 1000 centimeter cube? Ratio x into 1000 is equal to divided by 400 into 0.1. So this is 0.1 mole per dm cube. A option is correct option. So first find out the mole, and we know that this is 1.6 gram to make 400 centimeter cube solution. So which method makes a solution with concentration of 0.1? First find out mole. So 0.04. 0.04 mole is present in 400 centimeter cube of solution. So what would be the mole in 1000 centimeter cube? Ratio x. So cross multiply and we get the mole is 0.10 mole per dm cube. So this is correct option. Question number 12, which row shows the substance that can be electrolyzed? Aqueous sodium chloride. Yes, aqueous sodium chloride can be electrolyzed. Copper cannot be electrolyzed. Graphite cannot. Molten lead to bromide can be electrolyzed. Aqueous sodium chloride can be electrolyzed. So this is correct because copper can't be electrolyzed, and graphite also cannot be electrolyzed. Molten lead to bromide can be electrolyzed. So B option is correct option. The apparatus shown is set up to electroplate a steel key with copper. The key does not get coated with copper. So this is an cathode. So which change needs to be made to electroplate the key? So this is cathode. Instead of cathode, it can be anode. If it is anode and this is cathode, then key steel electroplate a steel key with copper. So then this key will be coated with copper. If anode is made up of copper and cathode is made up of, if key made cathode and copper plate act as a anode, the key does not get coated with copper. Which change? Increase the concentration of aqueous copper 2 sulfate, increase the electric current, replace the solution with dilute sulfuric acid. No, aqueous copper sulfate is correct. Reverse the electrical connection. Yes, this is correct option because make key cathode and copper anode. Ammonium nitrate dissolves in water. Which statement are correct? Process is endothermic. Yes, it is correct because delta H is positive. The water gets colder during the process. Yes, it is correct because heat is absorbed by the ammonium nitrate to get dissolved in water. So that's why water loses heat. So that's why water gets colder during the process. Thermal energy is absorbed by the ammonium nitrate. Yes, it is correct. Heat is absorbed by the ammonium nitrate from the water. So this is also also correct statement. So A option 1, 2, 3 are correct. So A option is correct. Hydrogen react with oxygen to produce water. Some bond energies are shown. Using the data in the table, what is enthalpy change of reaction? Enthalpy change of reaction is equal to bond energy of reactant minus bond energy of product. So reactants has 2 moles of 2 bonds 1 and 2 bonds of hydrogen, 2 into 436 plus 1 bond of oxygen to oxygen double bond, that is 496 minus 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds of OH. So 4 into 463 2 into 436 is equal to 872 plus 496 minus 4 into 463. This is equal to 1852. So 872 plus 496, this is equal to 1368 minus 1852 minus 1852. This is equal to minus 484. C option is correct option. Minus 484 kilojoule per mole. Question number 16. Silicon 4 chloride SiCl4 boils at 58 degrees centigrade. Which row shows the type of change when silicon 4 chloride boils and the explanation? So boils at melting and boiling point are physical change, so that's why this is physical change. Physical change. And which row shows the type of change when silicon 4? The explanation is that intermolecular forces break. So silicon 4 chloride is a simple molecule. So simple molecules have weaker intermolecular forces which are going to break. So that's why this is a physical change and intermolecular forces break. So C option is correct. A 2 gram sample of calcium carbonate react with hydrochloric acid as shown. Which change in conditions makes the reaction proceed more slowly? Increasing the acid concentration. When we increase the acid concentration, the reaction is faster, rate is faster, rate become faster. Increasing the size of the solid particles. So this is also incorrect, because increasing the size of the solid particles lower the rate. Increasing the surface area of the solid particles. Increasing the size of the particles, solid particle, yes. This is the rate is decreased. So this option is correct option. Excess aluminum react with dilute hydrochloric acid. The hydrogen given off is collected in a gas ring. The total volume of hydrogen in the gas ring is recorded every 2 minutes. The results of this experiment are shown. Which statement is correct? The mass of aluminum added is 0.107. This is incorrect because excess aluminum react. The mass of aluminum added, so it is incorrect because excess aluminum is used. Excess aluminum reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid. The mass of aluminum added cannot be determined from yes, it can be correct. Now let's check the other statement. The highest rate of reaction is 71.5. Let's check this rate. 53 volume over time, 53 divided by 4, so 4 ones are 4. The answer is 53 divided by 4. So this rate is 13. This is per minute and this is per second. So this is 13.25 per second. So this is also incorrect. And if we check 103 divided by 6, 106 divided by 103 divided by 6, this rate is 17.1 second. So it can be, if we compare this multiplied by 60, this is incorrect. So the highest rate of reaction is when the acid concentration is highest. This statement is correct. So this is concentration is higher. This is dilute acid. So this is also incorrect. Question number 19. 157.75 gram of bismuth 3 chloride is used to make 500 centimeter cube solution using distilled water. The aqueous bismuth chloride 3 chloride slowly becomes cloudy as it reacts with water to form insoluble BiOCl. The reaction is reversible. Which statement are correct? The initial concentration of the bismuth 3 chloride solution is 1 mole per dm cube. So how to check initial mole? So BiCl3 mass of bismuth, is 209. So BiCl3. So the mass of chlorine is, AR of chlorine is 35.5. So this is, bismuth is 209 plus 35.5 into 3. So this is equal to 209 plus 35.5 into 3. This is equal to 315. Now let's check. This is 315. 315.5, 157.75 divided by, so this is mole, 0.75 divided by 315.5 is equal to 0.5. So the 500 centimeter cubes is using distilled water. So 500 is containing 0.5 mole. So what would be the mole when 1000 centimeter cube? Ratio x into 1000 divided by 500. So this is equal to 1 mole per dm cube. The initial concentration of bismuth chloride solution is 1 mole per dm cube. It is correct. At equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction equals the rate of, yes, this is also correct, because at equilibrium rate of forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction. When more hydrochloric acid is added, the position of equilibrium moves to the left. Yes, when we increase concentration of HCl, so the reaction will shift backward to counteract the chain or to balance the chain. So this is also correct. So 1, 2, 3 are correct. So A option is correct option. The flow chart shows some of the process and reactions in the formation of air substance 2, and from air we get nitrogen, and process is fractional distillation of air. Substance 1 are a hydrogen, cracking of oil. So hydrogen and nitrogen to form ammonia. What are the name of the process? X. This is the cracking, and substance 1 long chain alkanes. Yes, this is alkanes, long chain alkanes, and substance 2 is nitrogen. A option is correct. Question number 21. Many reactions involve oxidation and reduction. Which statement is correct? Acidified potassium manganate. Acidified manganate ions change color from colorless to purple when reduced. Colorless to purple. Manganate ion is purple. So when it is reduced, it become colorless. Colorless to purple, not purple to pink. So this is incorrect. All reactions that involve oxidation also involved. Yes, this is correct, because oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. If one substance is oxidized, other is reduced. So this is correct option. During a reaction, oxidizing agent lose electron, not oxidizing agent gains electron. Reduction is the loss of hydrogen. Reduction is gain of hydrogen. So that's why incorrect. Question number 22. The equation for the reaction is shown. Cl2 plus 2Kbr to form 2KCl plus Br2. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Bromide ions are oxidizing agent. This is bromide ion. This is going to oxidized, act as a reducing agent. Oxidation, reaction is oxidation, species is oxidized, act as a reducing agent. So this is incorrect. Bromine is a reducing agent. Bromine is not a reducing agent. This is also incorrect. Chloride ions are the reducing agent. Chloride ion is over here 0, and in this it is carrying negative charge, so the reaction is reduction because gaining of electron over here, so this is reduction. Species is reduced and act as an oxidizing agent. So this option is correct. This is not reducing agent. Chlorine is oxidizing agent. This is correct option, because chlorine after gaining electron with decrease in oxidation from 0 to -1, so it is going to reduce, act as an oxidizing agent. Which row describes both the pH and the ions with the greatest concentration in an aqueous alkali? Greater than 7. H positive or OH negative ions with greater concentration. No, hydrogen ion is not greater concentration. Greater than 7, and concentration of hydroxide ion is greater than the H positive ion. So B option is correct. Less than 7 it cannot be, so H positive. So B option is correct option. Water in a lake is acidic and the fish are dying. The water in the lake needs to be neutralized so that its pH is close to 7. Which compound is added to excess to neutralize the water in the lake? The lake is acidic and fish are dying and its pH is close to 7. The water in the lake needs to be neutralized so that its pH is close to 7. So calcium carbonate can be correct, because when it reacts with the lake water, so carbon dioxide is formed, and the water in the lake needs to be neutralized so that the pH is just close to the 7. Not phosphoric acid cannot neutralize, because this is acid. Potassium hydroxide, it can neutralize, but pH is not close to 7, because when we add potassium hydroxide, its pH is more than 7, right near to the 13 to 14. So A option is correct option. Sodium nitrate is also a salt, so it is also incorrect. Which pair of reagent is used in school laboratory to prepare a sample of pure barium sulfate? Barium carbonate plus dilute pure barium sulfate. Barium carbonate plus dilute sulfuric acid. Barium sulfate plus H2CO3. So this is acid. This is because dilute sulfuric acid reaction is stopped due to the formation of precipitate. So this is not pure barium sulfate, barium carbonate with sodium sulfate. So this is solid, this is aqueous, so its reaction cannot. So For pure barium sulfate, both reagents should be aqueous. Because barium carbonate is insoluble in water, so it cannot work. Barium chloride is aqueous because dissolved in water. Sodium sulfate is also aqueous. So when barium chloride BaCl2 when react with sodium sulfate to form barium sulfate plus NaCl. So this is solid, so this is pure barium sulfate. Barium hydroxide and concentrated, so it's not correct. C option is correct option. The total number of electrons in one atom of element Q is 17. Number of electron Q is 17 and one atom of element R is 19. Which statement about element Q and R is correct? Q and R react together to form a covalent compounds. Q is 17, so this is chlorine, and R is 19, potassium. So one is metal, other is non-metal, so can react together to form a covalent compound, can form ionic compound. Q forms a positive ions. Now Q forms a negative ion because it is non-metal present in groups 7, so need to gain one electron carrying -1 charge. R has more outer shell electron than Q. R has more outer shell electron. No, this is not correct. Q has more outer shell electron than R, so this is also incorrect. R is more metallic than Q. Yes, R is metallic because it is present in group 1, so it is more metallic than Q. So D option is correct. Which statement about the group 8 noble gases are correct? They are unreactive, correct. They all have a full outer shell of electrons. Yes, it is correct. They are all diatomic gases. They are monoatomic gases. So it is incorrect. 1 and 2 are correct. B option is correct. Iron has a high melting point. Which statement explains the high melting point of iron? Each iron cation has a strong electrostatic attraction to a sea of delocalized electrons. This is correct. In every iron atom there is a strong attraction between the proton and electrons. No, this is not correct. Iron has the same structure as diamond. No, this is incorrect. Iron is an alloy and alloy have different physical properties from iron is a metals. This is not an alloy, so it is also incorrect. A option is correct option. Question number 29. Which statement about alloy is correct? Alloys are not electrical or thermal conductors. This is incorrect. Alloys are electrical and thermal conductor. Alloys are softer than pure metals because the layers alloys are harder than pure metals. This is incorrect. Not are electrical conductors. Brass is a mixture of copper with small amount of chromium, nickel and carbon. So brass is a mixture of copper with a small amount of zinc. The percentage of each metal in an alloy may vary. Yes, this is correct. This is also incorrect. D option is correct option. The table shows the reactions of 4 metals P, Q, R and S and their oxides. Reaction with water. Reacts only with steam. Reacts rapidly. No reaction. Reacts only with steam. It means this is moderate reactive metal. Moderate reactive metal. Q, no reaction, reacts slowly, reacts when heated strongly. Then Q is less reactive than P. No reaction, reacts slowly, reacts when heated strongly. R, no reaction, reacts when heated. So R is less reactive than Q. S reacts rapidly, no reaction of oxide with carbon. So it is more reactive than P, Q and R. So S is more reactive. P, Q and R. So what is the order of reactivity from the most reactive to the least reactive metal? S is more reactive than P, then R, then Q. This is correct option. Which reaction takes place during the extraction of aluminium from aluminium oxide using carbon electrodes? This is reaction at anode. This is anode reaction. Carbon plus oxygen takes place from the aluminium using carbon electrodes. Okay. Carbon dioxide. Yes, carbon dioxide. This is incorrect because aluminium carrying 3 positive charge gain 3 electron to form aluminium. So 1 and 2 are correct, third is incorrect, B option is correct. NPK fertilizers are used to improve plant growth. A solid NPK fertilizer has the properties listed. Water soluble, yes, has an aqueous solution with pH 7. Which substances are mixed to make a solid NPK fertilizers? Ammonium nitrate, NH4NO3, nitrogen is present, potassium sulfate, potassium is also present, phosphorus oxide, P2 phosphorus is also present. But this is acidic oxide, so in aqueous solution its pH cannot be 7, so it is incorrect. Ammonium phosphate, NH4, thrice PO4, phosphorus and nitrogen present, potassium hydroxide. So this is also incorrect because potassium hydroxide, and with potassium hydroxide its pH cannot be 7, its pH round about 12 to 13 to 14, because potassium hydroxide is strong alkaline solution when it become aqueous. Ammonium sulfate, NH4 twice SO4, calcium nitrate CaNO3 twice, sodium phosphate Na3PO4. Calcium nitrate, sodium phosphate. This is acidic salt, calcium nitrate, all are aqueous solution. So which substance are mixed to make a solid NPK? So potassium nitrate KNO3, potassium is present, nitrogen is present, plus sodium phosphate Na3PO4. So potassium sulfate, so by reacting these NPK, water soluble, all are water soluble, this is water soluble, this is water soluble, and has an aqueous solution with which both are salts. So the solution with pH is 7. potassium nitrate is a salt, sodium phosphate is a salt. So this is ammonium sulfate is also a salt, but this is acidic salt, so that's why this is not correct. And this is both are salt, and NPK, nitrogen is present, potassium is present, and phosphorus is present, both NPK fertilizers. So D option is correct. Alkanes are saturated compounds containing carbon and hydrogen only. Structure 1, 2, 3 and 4 are saturated hydrocarbons. Which pair of substance structures are isomers? One, two, three. First count the number of carbon atoms in each case, then check the which is isomer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 1 and 2 are not isomer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 and 4, these two compounds are isomer because molecular formula 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C6, H14, and the molecular formula of this is also C6H14 and has different structural formula. This is 1,2 dimethyl 1, 2, 3, 4 butane, and this is 3 methyl pentane. So the structure are different, molecular formula are same, so these two are isomers, 2 and 4. Question number 34, which statement is correct? Any compound that contains both hydrogen and carbon is hydrocarbon. Yes, a petroleum is a compound formed from many different hydrocarbons. Petroleum is a compound, any compound that contains both. No, this is incorrect because sodium hydrogen carbonate, carbon and hydrogen is present, but this is not a hydrocarbon. And carbon petroleum is a compound formed from many different hydrocarbons. So this is also incorrect. Petroleum is not a compound, petroleum is a mixture. The boiling point of hydrocarbon increases when the chain length increases. It is correct. When chain length increases, number of carbon atom increases, number of intermolecular forces are increases, so that's why boiling point is also increases. The naphtha fraction obtained from petroleum is used for making roars, so this is incorrect. C option is correct. Compound Q is a hydrocarbon that has no structural isomers. Compound Q does not decolorize bromine in the dark. Which compound is Q? Compound Q is hydrocarbon and that has no structural isomers. Compound Q does not decolorize, can be alkane. Which compound is C3H6 is alkene? This is incorrect. This is alkyl propene. This is propane and it does not decolorize bromine in the dark and also has no structural formula. So B option is correct option. Which equation represents the reaction of alkanes? CH4Cl2, this is not correct option. HCl is formed. So H2 is not formed, HCl is formed. C2H6 plus 5O2 to form 4 carbon monoxide and 6 water molecule. This is correct reaction. This is incomplete combustion, and during incomplete combustion carbon monoxide and water is formed, and this is correct balanced chemical equation. C3H8 propane plus HCl to form C3H7 Cl plus H2. This is not correct. HCl cannot react with alkane, so it is not a correct chemical equation. This is D option is correct. Ethanol is produced during either ethene or glucose as the starting material. Ethanol is produced during using either ethane or glucose as the starting. Which row?